And guten Abend and willkommen zu CTRNF post Ethan with your boy Lynx here. We were just talking about Super Mario Bros. In the previous video where my timer came on and told me I only had 5 minutes left in that video. So here we are doing another one. But yeah, so to ask again, do you know why Super Mario Bros. 2 was so different from Mario Bros. 1? Because there's a whole thing behind it. It's actually really interesting. So in Japan, Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually very similar to Mario Bros. 1. However, it was extremely difficult, and a lot of people thought that the American version, or the Americans wouldn't be able to handle that or wouldn't like it. So they had to change it completely. Well, how are you supposed to rebuild a game within that short amount of time? They didn't have time. So what they did is they took another game called Doki Doki Palace. I think it's Doki Doki something. And basically, they just called it Mario. The 4 main heroes, they just transformed into the heroes of the Mushroom Kingdom. And all those enemies were specifically made for that game, for the Doki Doki game. And they just didn't change them. That's why at the end of the game, when you fight the big bad guy, it's not Bowser. It's some toad guy named Warts, because he's the main villain of the Doki Doki games. They didn't have time to edit him.
Oh, is that why that Birdo is actually from a reference to that game too? Is that why she's actually in Super Mario?
Yes, because Birdo is from Doki Doki. She was never originally a Mario character. She was a Doki Doki enemy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You should look up the original Super Mario Bros. 2. I've watched it. It looks difficult. I didn't grow up with a SNES or an NES in this case, so I would have never played this regardless, but I don't think I would have liked it as a kid. It would have been too hard for me.
Ironically, when my parents actually got divorced, I actually had an SNES. I still kicked myself in the ass for getting rid of it.
Bro, I kicked myself in the ass for getting rid of the one we had. I missed that.
I grew up with that, and I had genuine good games that made me feel like it was like really fun to play like stuff like that back then. I actually preferred playing it over my GameCube.
It was pretty fun. Hey, do you remember when we had the Super Famicom and we had that Japanese Dragon Ball game?
Yes.
That was fun. I remember being Cell, mostly, and just kicking you in the corner. We could never figure out how to use the Kamehameha waves at all. Dude, the combos in that game were crazy. We were just mashing buttons and finally something would happen. Yeah. God, I miss having those consoles, man. We need to rebuy those. Those are such a treat.
Yeah, I actually remember even having like the SNES, and I had like the Super Donkey. I had Donkey Kong Country and all that stuff.
Ooh, Diddy Kong's Adventure 2 is one of my favorites. I have it on my 3DS as a eShop download. Really fun game.
So I had a lot of. I also was like, I had a copy of the original Super Mario Bros. 2 for that as well. Unfortunately, the case was damaged and it would never load, which is going to be sad, but I did have it to at least, you know, glare at and say, one day I'm going to fix you, maybe.
I had the original Mario Bros. For the NES. It was pretty fun.
Because the SNES, I remember, can play NES games, too.
No, I don't think, no, that's not true.
Well, that's weird because NES games made me work on that fine.
The SNES had its own Mario games, but you can't play Mario. The only attachment it had, you could play Game Boy games on it. Specifically, like, the original Gen 1.
Yeah.
Like old style stuff, but I don't think you could play NES games on the SNES. And it had its own fair share of Mario games. It had the first Mario Kart, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Story, or Yoshi's Island, whatever it's called.
Yoshi's Island as well. That was a different game.
Well, it's not with all the Yoshis.
I had some like the older fighter games that were made by Capcom too as well, that were like Spaghetti Air Juice as well on the SNES.
Bro, the Disney games though, like the Lion King, Tarzan.
Yeah, I had
Those were some
too.
hard games. Oh my gosh.
I'm not-
I had an
I'm not gonna lie,
Animaniacs game I was really
again,
proud of. I just like the
You probably would
Animaniacs.
have shot me because I got rid before you actually met. But when I had my S, I sold it to a person, to a family of mine, a family of friends that were my mom's,
Okay.
and for like $30, and I have like over 200 games for that thing.
You say I would have shot you, but I'm gonna be honest with you. When I met you in high school, I would have never known what a SNES was. I would have just shrugged and said, "Okay, cool." I would have had no idea.
Like what's even worse is too, like, I got that for free off of like
Got that for free and sold it for $30. I gotta beat your ass, boy.
because like my dad when my parents got divorced, he was dating this girl named I can't remember her name for life of me, but she had like Amy. Her name was Amy now, but she had,
Her name
like,
was
a
Amy
son.
now. Okay.
I remember now. She had a son and she had a daughter, which they were absolutely mean to me. They were abusive to me. That's why I'm glad this relationship never worked out with them. But they treated me like shit.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But I was little, but Daniel was actually let me have this because it was actually his back in the day, and I asked about it, and he just said He said you can have it, twerp, because it has all these games. They're just collecting dust. I took it because I was like, dude, I never seen this before.
Yeah, fun stuff.
But yeah, that's how I grew into it. And then when my parents were divorced, and I stayed down with my mom's down in Dora when my dad was up near Main Street, I played SNES all the time when I had nothing to do, and that's what I came to grow and love.
Yeah, it's a fun console. I don't have many memories with it other than you and I playing a few games on it. This was way back when I was trying to be a collector for video games. And then eventually I sold everything to pursue my passions with Nendoroids and Lord knows everything else.
And then I remember like back in like when I was in daycare too, when like a lot of new Pokemon games would come out and how I get introduced to 4th gen and stuff like that. I remember like when we all had like DSs, we'd be trading each other's games, so how I could get other games. I love how that worked. Dude, I'll trade you this for that. Oh, heck yeah. That's how I actually got my first like copy of Pokemon Pearl.
Bro, do I have a story for you? So I grew up with the Game Boy games, and I didn't know anything about the DS. I didn't know anything about the new Pokemon games. I was always just playing Ruby or Fire Red because that's what, or Sapphire and Fire Red because that's all I had. That's all I knew. And one day, my buddies tell me about these new Pokemon games on the DS, and they're like showing me. I'm just like, whoa, that looks awesome! And I'm like, what are these? And they're like, okay, when you go to Blockbuster, look for Pokemon Pearl or Pokemon Diamond. Make sure you get Diamond. I'm like, okay. And I'm there and I'm looking, and I see something called Pokemon Platinum, and I'm just like, well, they didn't mention this. Is this a Pokemon game? Is this the same thing? And I'm like looking at the case, and I'm like real hesitant. Well, eventually, I got Platinum, and I also got Heart Gold. And I was just so excited to play with my buddy. He showed me all the Pokemon he had. And at this point, I had started playing Heart Gold. And I saw he had a Meditite. And I'm like, Meditite! Like, bro, I was a Gen 3 nerd. Like, I loved that thing. So I was like, I want it. What do you want? And he's like, I see you got a powerful Meganium there. And I'm like, what, this stupid thing? Yeah, I don't like this thing. I'll trade you the Meditite for the Meganium. I traded that starter so fast. And then later, I'm like, why the fuck did I trade my starter for a Meditite, bro? My fully evolved Meganium. I never won a battle after that because he had my starter, and he just kicked my ass with that thing.
Damn.
But I was so happy in that moment because I was like, bro, an updated graphics Meditite? And it actually looked like super cute and shit. Like, bro, I love Meditite. Meditite is one of my favorite Pokemons, but god, does it look like dog water in Gen 3.
Yeah, you're gonna get the hand on me just because you know that shortcut.
What about that shortcut? What about me epically taking that shortcut to get my hands on you? Yeah, good for you. It's about time.
We were close to each other anyway on that.
That was a good race.
Yeah, growing up, I never really had. I really wouldn't get much of the kind of the premium consoles. I kind of grew up a lot of the older stuff, and it was kind of weird back in 2010 when I was still kind of in junior high, and I finally got my first Xbox when they were praising it back in the day. All my friends were like, dude, you gotta play the new Black Ops, and it was so nice going. And this is before, again, I met you.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know you in 2010, yeah.
And I had to get home I was excited to go home every day. This is when they were first doing, like I was first getting introduced to, like, Xbox Live, where you can talk to your friends and all this stuff, play games online with them. I'm like, this is so cool. And I remember getting online, hopping on my Xbox, listening to the first console start up, carrying on the first original Black Ops, making memories with like all my old friends, and just sitting on this tiny
now
TV.
They're all gone.
Crystal's still around.
One. Where does the time go?
Everyone else kind of vanished after high school, and I'm not gonna blame them, but for what it's worth, my dad kind of warned me on that too. Will happen. Like, a lot of people after high school you'll probably never see again in your life because they're just probably going to do something stupid, or they're going to go move on their lives, or get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they are.
And I generally don't I can't really argue with that because I understand it. Like, some people don't like Butler, some people don't want to live in Butler, some people don't even want to be in PA. So
Pennsylvania as a whole is terrible, so.
I mean, we're the second most taxed state in the entire history of, U.S.
Oh boy, we sure love our taxes.
The first is
Tired of living in the harbor.
Don't get me wrong, there's some people that think California's real nice, but then like you look at the stupid laws they have, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to be in any part of California.
I personally would never live in California. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, I always miss that. I always do it every time on this map. I just somehow drift off the edge, not aware that thinking there's a physical guardrail there to save my life.
You know, since we're on the topic now, I'm just thinking about it. How different do you think our lives would be if you had never begged me to get Facebook? Because we would have never re-met Ethan, because he was a grade behind us. We would have never seen this kid again in our lives.
I don't know. I think it would have been generally different, because I think it would have just... You still would have pursued your goals and stuff like that. I think it would just been different. I also think if you didn't have social media too, you would have never met Soren as well.
Well, that's not entirely true, because I met Soren via YouTube.
But you get what I'm saying, though?
Not in that context. I mean, yeah, because Sada I met on a chat site, which had nothing to do with Facebook. And then I met Soren after those events because she was just concerned for my well-being. She was just a nice person at the time. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that had nothing to do with the events of you making me get Facebook just to meet Ethan and I think John was the other one?
John got big.
Oh, did he?
He got fat.
Oh, I haven't seen him in so long. I don't know what he looks like. I do remember him looking larger when I saw him, like, maybe 5 or some years after graduation, but I only saw him for that one day.
I'm gonna say, I haven't seen Jeffrey in, like, years. I'm pretty sure he went to military, if I remember correctly. Dakota just kind of straight up vanished.
Yeah, wasn't he in, he was in JROTC or whatever it's called.
I am not doing so hot.
Yeah, we had a decent little friend group, I guess.
Then there was Jimmy. Can't forget about that asshole.
We don't talk about Jimmy. Jimmy was not our friend. He was an asshole.
You had a question the words of the mighty Jimmy.
Listen, he may have been an asshole, but he had good Yu-Gi-Oh cards, goddammit, and he was always willing to sell them. I'll never forget. I think it was an insect card. But he had one, and he wanted like $1.25, and I was like begging you for a quarter, and you're like, and you finally pulled out your little wallet and gave him a quarter. Ah, bro, I was so happy. And then I never used it again. Because eventually I learned what real dueling was all about, and I never went back to the...
I want my quarterback. Is that too late for now?
Yeah, yes, it is too late. That's like 10 years too late. I ain't paying you the quarter or what? Who said I'm reimbursing you? I never agreed to this.
Sure you did. It's in the contract.
The contract?
Yes,
bro.
it's the Calicos.
High school was some wild times, you know.
I mean, it was different. I mean, we had a lot of stuff. I mean, the cookies were good, generally good.
The cookies. Who cooked them?
Remember the big old cookies we could get for 75 cents? They were like.
I don't remember cookies, but I remember watching these two girls make out whenever we had to sit in the cafeteria in the morning, and that was always kind of fun to watch. Is that weird to say? I don't know.
My Touma was a growing boy.
Listen, I was just this young, quiet boy, and I'm just sitting at this table, and I see these two girls. One was like really tall, the other was like super short, and she had like pink hair, and they were like getting really close to each other, and I'm just like, heh, what if they kiss? Like, I don't know, but I just had like this really silly thought. And then they literally just like started kissing, and I was like, oh! Like Tiny's Touma's mind just like broke for a minute. And then I got up and I after staring for like 20 seconds, I got up and ran away because I'm like, if I get caught, like I'm gonna get punched or something. So I ran. I got out of there. But yeah, it was weird. They just started like, and then they'd look around, they'd stop, and then they go back to kissing. I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it, but I just knew I liked what I saw. And so I was just like, oh, okay. That's just a weird memory that I have from the morning.
My studies in the future, saving this in the back of my mind.
Why did we have to do that, by the way? Do you remember what that was for?
What? How we had to wait every morning?
Yeah, and we just had to sit randomly in the cafeteria if we're going to class or whatever?
Because the buses dropped us early enough to the point we had to wait till we had to go to our study hall, our classrooms.
Oh, okay, before period one. Okay, I couldn't remember what the reasoning was, but I just remember waiting, and that was where they would, just start doing that, and I was...
You actually know, if you actually go back up to the school, actually, tell me, you remember the original way they had in senior
I am almost
like,
a 30-year-old man. I am not going anywhere near that building, okay?
Yeah, but, like, I'm saying is, do you remember, like, the walkway we had to walk out through when it was, like, super cold some days and shit like that?
What, the outside one?
Yeah.
Yeah, to get to the other building. I remember that.
It's all one building now. They all made it solid. It's no longer open.
What the fuck? Why did I have to suffer just so these new kids
Yeah,
can
I
not?
know. I'm like, what the hell?
Why was I the test rat? What the crap? What is this?
Because I had to pick up Trevor when he's with our coworkers at school. And he's like, when he was like 16, and I'm like, bro, what the hell? And he's like, what? I'm like, this used to all be open. He's like, what, it was? I'm like, yeah. Like, why do we have to suffer? Shit.
He doesn't even know of our suffering. He's like, it was? Your grandpa, when did you go to school? Back in the 1800s?
Like, building an addition to the school outside. I'm like, what is this crap?
That's wild. That's genuinely wild.
You just stay where you are, okay?
You just stay where you are, okay?
Yeah, it was generally weird.
I don't know. I have good memories about that school. I didn't mind high school, to be honest with you, I know for some people they got bullied a lot, but like, I was always the bigger kid. So like, yeah, I was quiet, but no one really messed with me because I always looked grumpy and I have wide shoulders. So it's just like, they didn't really bother me too much. But I remember hearing the stories, though, about other kids getting bullied and like, I remember this one girl, she was really pretty too, and she committed suicide. I felt so sad about that. I wish I had spoken to her. I never had the courage to talk to her.
Well,
Oh, that wasn't the final lap. I let go of the exhaust.
What bothers me is too, and I think the more I think about this too, it's like, you got all these kids with all these, like, and they're not fully grown yet, and they have all these ball-up emotions. And, it just, when you have all that drama too, it just sets off a chain reaction, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it sets something off. I'll never forget the day you told me our good buddy Nick killed himself, and I'm just like, what? I mean, I knew he wasn't, doing the best when we graduated. I remember him being kind of sad, I guess, to a degree.
Yeah, seriously, he committed I can't. I actually found out if they're crits though, because he told me that. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I used to play Airsoft with him. I know you're talking about the little Nick guy.
Yeah, remember? I think this kid's the Avatar.
He had a genuine cool smile. He was a genuine. He had a good sense of humor. He had a good smile.
Yeah, he was a good kid. I remember laughing with him almost every day.
I don't like telling myself unless I ask about it or like really have let to know. And he's like, dude, how do I tell you this? I'm like, tell me what? He's like, Nick's been dead, dude. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he committed suicide. I'm like, what do you mean? And they started telling me in depth, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh.
It's weird to hear that kind of stuff. I've heard about a couple of suicides from people we used to go to school with, and it's just like, wow. I guess I'm doing okay. I mean, I haven't fallen so far that I feel like I need to do that yet, so maybe my life isn't as terrible.
My one favorite story, I think, from the kids in school was that one kid named David Snow, where we all like were trying to donate money so he can get like a transplant for like a liver or something like that, or like a lung.
Okay.
It was some major organ. I love after like he got his like the money done, he got his surgery successful. He went driving through the Taco Bell drive-thru. It was all like a...
Now that my organs are working again, it's time to clog them back up so they never work again.
Serious. He went right through the Taco Bell drive-thru.
That is truly some of the most awful things I've ever heard in my life.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
I don't understand how that happens.
I don't know either, but I was like, bro, how do you go from being thankful to being a complete asshole like that in like let's ban 2 days?
Well, you know, when you start feeling better, you start feeling better. I don't know. I've never been in that kind of situation. I don't know. I don't want to prejudge, but
I was like, bro, how does that happen?
That's wild, bro. That is absolutely wild.
You know, one thing that honestly bothered me a lot in senior high too, if I think about it too.
What?
Dude, it was my last year there, and it was the most ass bothering thing there too. So I had a job my last, like at for my last year at the senior high, and you know I could like. I worked after, sometimes I worked, that's all school. But the thing that bothered me was like my last 3 periods were study halls.
Oh.
At senior high. So I spent 3 hours in the cafeteria until I got to leave. And I wasn't allowed to leave. I want you to think about that for a moment. So literally after lunch, I'm just sitting there for like 3 hours.
Well, listen, study hall is for you to study and to catch up on your work. Speaking of study hall, I remember I had this one study hall. They had Game Boys. Like, straight up Game Boys. And then I think there might have been a Game Boy Advance, too. But they just had a bin full of Game Boys, and we could just play Game Boys for the study hall. They even had a Wii hooked up at one point, too. Bro, I absolutely loved this class. And this was in high school, by the way. This was not elementary school or middle school. This was high school. And I was playing video games for a class period. Almost every day. It was insane.
Lucky.
I was gifted. Let me tell you. I played Double Dragon a lot. Sometimes I'd bring in my own games like C and K. Crash Nitro Kart on the Game Boy. Truly a good experience. I recommend it.
Oh, we are neck and neck right now.
Oh, I see you there. Oh, whoa, okay. Well, that wasn't very nice. I'm going down memory lane. You assault me like this.
Free of charge.
Free of charge! I want my quarterback, bastard. Over here! On guard!
You can put
Just like
that
that!
in your series. Go, Lynx, I need this card.
You know what? Since I need content for the new Nendoroid episode, maybe I'll do it. But I'll think about that while I'm in first place.
Jesus, guy. Yeah, I got this card you need, buddy.
You twisted the mighty words of Jimmy. Actually, you know what I want to do now?
What?
So I told you about the funeral scene for Ethan, since we're writing him out of the Nendoroid thing. If I can find a casket, I might just put the hobo Jimmy action figure as the body. I'm gonna put him as a casket. I think it'd be so funny.
It's almost like then you have the new characters. It's almost like I can still hear him talking.
It's almost as if I can still hear him trying to desperately collect all the women. God, I hope that ends soon. Go touch the Brazils and give me the...
No, that's Electron Avenue.
And then we take it higher. Hey, hey, Electric Avenue. Oh, man. You know, we're just racing each other. There's no other racers. This is awesome. It's just been us going down memory lane, and I really appreciate stuff like this. I used to do this a lot with Ethan when you weren't here. We would just have these big talks and just reminisce about stuff. And wow. It's a different breath of fresh air with you, because it's like we haven't done this in years, you know?
Oh,
well, we haven't. I mean, we haven't had a real conversation in a very long time. So this has been refreshing.
It's okay. It's okay. My girlfriend says I'm a race therapist, so it's all right.
You are not a therapist. You are far from a therapist. But
I don't know. She thinks otherwise.
well, wait till she has a traumatic event. She'll understand.
She already did.
Not traumatic event. Anyways, my point is, thank you for talking, sir. You're usually a very quiet man.
I talk?
Apparently. For a quarter.
Since when?
1999.
For a quarter? I can get a jawbreaker with that.
You get a jawbreaker! Bro, you know what's funny? I never even knew jawbreakers were real. I thought that was like a made-up thing for the show.
I always thought that too. Like, I always thought they were like some made-up thing. And I saw them like, did you say jawbreaker?
Yeah, and then you see they're like the tiniest things ever, and they made them like... I always thought it was like a gumball or something, because like,
actually,
I don't know.
Buy, like the one you see in that net, they're not like that huge, but they're actually the size of like a baseball.
What the hell?
Yeah,
How do you eat that? How do you put that in your mouth?
I do not know, and I'm curious to see.
I don't... Whoa! Whoa, pal!
What?
Not cool, marsupial.
What are you talking about?
You know damn well what you did.
I don't know what you're talking about. I did
You know
nothing wrong.
damn well what you did.
I've done nothing wrong.
I saw it! I was right there!
I'm a pure saint.
A pure saint! Yeah.
I'm the purest of all.
You are a pious man. Nothing can distract you from the word of God.
Excuse me, Touma, there's a nice Platina outside of those
You never go outside. It is fresh air. Ah, I can smell fieriness. Sir, what are you trying to say? Quiet, you fool! Can't you see I'm worshipping God? That is a thick Latina woman. What are you talking about?
God can be whatever he wants of whoever in their image.
Please don't give fake Touma more power. Don't tell him that. Oh no!
Who said anything about fake Touma? I'm talking about real Touma.
What the hell? Touma opens his own church. There's just a beautiful Latina woman strapped to a cross. Mommy, why is there a beautiful woman up there? Because our pastor's insane, son. No, listen to his
actually,
words.
this is actually true if you think about it, and I don't think people understand. Because people, like, I know everyone thinks Jesus is a guy with brown beard hair and like long, like, you know, malic hair.
That is how most people describe the man, yes.
But a lot of people also think that God can just be like whatever in their image that comes to their mind.
I think it's been depicted this way some ways too.
What's comforting is a person's used to seeing, basically.
Yeah, I think because whatever he truly is, a human couldn't comprehend it. I think what he would then become something that's familiar to them that they could understand.
like the Watchers or whatever it is, like the ending. You ever see them where like you couldn't see their true forms? You see them whatever it is you're comfortable with.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I heard half of that. What?
I said like Ben 10 Omniverse, the ending where those like Watcher guys, so they can do whatever like you're mostly used to seeing.
Oh, I haven't watched Ben 10 in a long time. I have no idea.
Because you can't see like their true form.
Probably.
I think it's like that sense.
I just think he will show himself to you in a way that you are familiar with. Something warm, a sense of familiarity.
Oh, for real?
Something you can identify. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a hardcore religious. I don't know. I just know I'm a believer, and I went to church when I was young.
Touma and me just go up the stairs when I just see Jesus as a 78 Monte Carlo. Oh, for real? Just like that.
Well, you know, my sister used to own a Doofenshmirtz action figure, so I know they exist. That one unfortunately got chewed up by a dog, but I know it exists, and I'm gonna buy another one. I'm gonna put it in the series.
Make him a duelist.
Oh, for you. On guard. Just like that.
A platypus? A dueling platypus?
A duelist? A ritual-using duelist? A fake duelist?
Wait, what?
Huh?
Oh, you're not funny.
Oh, what?
I heard that last comment. I heard that last comment. I'll have to end your misery for that one.
Really? You're gonna change the deck so he doesn't have to use a ritual deck? Oh my god, thank you so much. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I mean, I could have easily, but thank you for doing it for me. Oh, thank god. What deck would you like to use?
No,
I'll change it
that's not what I
immediately.
said. Like another ritual deck.
What? Why would you build more rituals? We don't need more, we need less. What's wrong with you?
Okay, we'll just have a bunch of relinquishes.
Relinquish? Oh god, no. You truly are something else there, kid. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I don't know where that came from.
Ooh, Tiny Temple, Crash Cove, Cocoa Park. Oh, I guess we're going to Cocoa Park. Yeah, I didn't even get to choose the vote.
Yeah, I voted. You should have voted. I don't know why you don't. You don't vote. You simply exist.
I like existing.
I like existing too. Some days. And then other days I wish I could just eviscerate into a million pieces and never exist at all. Ah, the circle of life. Truly a wonder of the universe. The great word of Jimmy. The killing, the devouring, the conquering. Awesome creatures. I've seen what happens when they take a city. We saw the leader earlier. He was ugly. Well, it would seem that your good charm must have angered someone, because there's word from the wasteland that the metalheads are on the move again. What the hell was that?
What?
I'm hearing a lot of strange noise.
Don't worry about it.
I'm scared.
Finally showed up.
Okay,
My health is in danger.
Your health is always in danger.
I know.
We just give you some cinnamon. That seems to bring you back into life.
That probably would heal me, to be honest with you. Honestly, my voice feels much better than it did yesterday, so I'm hoping I'll be able to film something this week.
Oh, I'm also trying not to like make you angry because I don't want to strain your voice out.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. I only do that for the bits. You know that.
Yeah, but I don't want you to permanently lose your voice.
No, this time I'm actually going to be more self-aware about that, because I did some damage to my lungs, and it took like 2 months or more to actually fully heal. I don't ever want to do that again. So I will not be doing any of that again. It was funny for the bit, and it was, you know, hilarious for those videos. Yeah. But I will not be doing that again. Oh, they loved it. They were laughing their asses off.
But after like the second day, after like the fifth day, even though like you still are suffering, I actually didn't like felt bad. So I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it was bad. Oh, what the hell? Damn, I'm too fast. Unfortunate. I was gonna hit my circle button after I got the apples, but they weren't instantaneous, so now,
Oh, my ball!
Hey, you stop trying to do that right now.
What?
You stop trying to get me, boy.
Just bowling for Toumas.
Bowling for Toumas.
I'm hoping I get a strike.
Strike this.
Guys, we're in a dark room. I found this weird candle the first time. I'm like, what kind of candle is that? TNT. TNT.
Oh.
That's like the one thing where Kevin keeps lighting up dynamite and they keep blowing up. Will you quit that? I remember that in Ben
You gotta
10
treat a woman like you treat a car. Go on. No. I sense I've made a mistake or something.
That's a comedy gold. I love that.
Yeah.
There's so much things in that. That and like Sonic Boom for stupid. I don't even know how that got so many jokes happening.
Ooh, engines. Yes.
That was another show. I just don't understand how they always so much stupid jokes.
What show?
Sonic Boom, that dark.
Oh, I never watched Sonic Boom. I watched Sonic X. That was a show I watched growing up.
The clips are just
How
so,
did you get past security?
So
I pretended I was a bar of slope and gave them all the slip. Frickin' Eggman, I swear. My salad is cold and my water is hot. How do they even do that? Yo, Sonic, bro to bro. What's going on with you and Amy?
I love that. I said, normally as your villain, everything exceeds all, but the bro code stays strong. I love that. Bro code.
The brogue. But the bro code exceeds the villainy.
I love that.
But you're my enemy!
How's the Susie sound for you? Great.
Oh, I'm dying.
Okay, I want you to die.
That's okay, I want to die too at these in these troubling times.
But if you die, it means no more cinnamon.
Oh, I was just gonna say no more filming, but you know what? That's probably more tragic, not being able to taste the deliciousness of cinnamon. You're probably onto something. Ah, hey. No, I'm sorry, what was that? Speak up!
You asshole!
Speak into this bomb, would you? Excellent. Ooh!
TNT, it's only time for you.
Wait, what? A TNT? A
In the
TNT?
tunnel. Next time just for you.
In the tunnel. Whoa, okay, that was scary. I thought that hit me.
Oh, it will. Don't you worry.
I'll make sure to dodge all your attacks. See, this is one thing I love about this game. There's no horrific rubber banding like there is in Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, they also mentioned that too, and that was one thing they said that there's not in that Sonic game either. There's no rubber banding.
There's no rubber banding.
Yes.
I'm already in love with it. I want it now. Give it to me. Drifting shadows with no rubber banding.
They
Oh,
said
mommy,
the
please.
only way that will truly make the AI and the players generally worry about having to catch up is, so like the rings will tell you to make the maps randomized. So whoever player picks the rings, and the rings are randomized, so you don't get a choice every time. Like what changes makes every race different no matter what.
Okay.
So the first player chooses between two rings where they want the next part of the race to go.
Whoa, okay, that's kind of cool.
And they don't know what they're getting into. Like, one of the rings could even be like a randomized ring, which means they can just take you to a random, like, basically track.
I'm gonna have to look into this. This sounds awesome.
It's generally a good concept. I think it's a really cool concept.
I'm really excited for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Day collections. Because I never got to play a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on the Game Boy. So I'm actually a little excited to finally play that. But I found out that's a Nintendo exclusive.
Actually,
I was shocked
the
by
real
that.
thing that's going to be the ask for the Game Boy is they're going to include the Japanese ones that weren't
Oh yeah, you're gonna get to experience those too. Those are being imported.
I think it's the one thing that a lot of people really want.
It is. They're coming. That was confirmed. You're getting 14 Yu-Gi-Oh games in one thing.
I honestly wonder sometimes if they're ever, because they flopped with kind of a rush to wolves and shit like that. I wonder if they're ever gonna try to make a whole like reboot for like the series.
I mean, technically, they still haven't announced any new anime, aside from the Sky Striker anime. But that's just about the monsters themselves and the lore behind them. That has nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh itself, the card game anyway. So I mean, I hope they do. I hope that we go back to the original format. Hey, I unlocked a new skin for Liz.
I'd be curious to see if they're gonna reformat it. I don't know.
If they do, I just hope we see less rituals. That's all I have to say.
Well, don't get me wrong, the original was good, but there was a lot of especially that like when let's be honest, original Yu-Gi-Oh was taken over by 4Kids, so a lot of stuff was cut out, and a lot of the work kind of like changed and altered as opposed to the sub. I would kind of hope if they did like a reboot live altered, especially now.
They'd stop censoring everything. I can finally see my Amazoness midriff. Yeah, God, please. Can I have that? And my Harpy Feather Duster's cleavage. Dark Magician Girl not having a skirt randomly when she's zoomed in on, yet any other scene she doesn't have it. Like, AO. Most random thing.
But
yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though.
No, I would love a reboot, and I would love to see, like, especially, like, a Duelist Kingdom arc, where they actually have to follow the original rules, instead of just, like, you know, the made-up ones they had for Season 1.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be kind of nice to have that reboot and kind of incorporate into stuff.
Listen, Dan Green's still alive, and so's the voice actor for Tristan, Joey, and Kaiba. So, I mean, they could make this happen. They could redo this.
I just feel, I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy that you know, did the first original Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, 5Ds, he also did Zexal too, before he passed away.
When? No, he died,
And no, he did
after Varaine's, I think.
Yeah, he did Varaine's and he passed. I just feel like they should honor his wishes, and I wish they would. I wouldn't mind like different sub-series if like they did like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! With a different cast, kind of like, or like, you know, like it still takes place at the same time as him, or like Yugi's like, you know, doing like his main quest. I feel like that would be kind of a cool approach too, because there's so much they could do with that.
So new batch of characters, but still in New Domino City when Yugi was going through those events.
Yes, or like still like in GX, like the next class after, like, you know, or like 5Ds. It'd be interesting to see the continuation of them.
It'd be really cool to see the continuation of 5Ds.
Everyone wants to see that.
Well, the big reason why, though, is because at the end of 5Ds, you actually get to see what happens to the characters, what happens when they grow up. So it'd be really cool to have Yusei have a kid. And then you can see him help his son build a duel runner, could tell stories about him in the ancient past, well, ancient past, you know what I mean, like in the past when he was on his duel runner, and they had to fight the Dark Signers. Which, by the way, they couldn't reuse the Dark Signers again, just because of how that was set up. So it would have to be a new villain.
Well, yeah, wouldn't that be like every 1,000 years or so that cycle?
Every 5,000 years.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have to deal with that. But they could make their own new villains or something, like, you know, a terrorist organization or spiteful someone, I don't know, something. Maybe it'd be really cool to watch. I'd be down for that. Or GX, if they did like a new version of the school, new cast, new characters, updated card types now.
Dude, you know what'd be cool actually if they did that? So you know
Kind of like
Cyrus?
OTB, you know? Cyrus? Yeah, I know Cyrus True Stuff. What about it?
It'd be actually kind of interesting, like if they did like a feature version of GX where you see Cyrus as a teacher. I think that'd be kind of cool, actually.
Very odd that you specifically targeted Cyrus. Is there any particular reason for that?
I could see him doing that. He's just kind of like a quirky kind of sense, like a teacher. I could see him acting like that and bonding for the kids, and then he would reminisce about his times back here.
I could
at the
not
school.
picture Cyrus being a teacher at all. He is the most cowardly, wimpiest man alive. He would not have the self-confidence to stand in front of a class.
I mean, he'd do better than Jaden. Jaden just fall asleep.
Yeah, but Jaden's a better duelist, though. He'd actually teach them something. He'd take them out and actually duel them. Plus, Alexis is the one that becomes the teacher.
True.
So it'd be weird to focus on Cyrus. That's an odd... it's just an odd choice. It's peculiar. I'm not against it. I'm just saying it's very odd. Not something I would
There's just a lot. Then they also have that weird gap, too, where, like, I don't know, like, app between Yu-Gi-Oh! And then GX, where, like, you know, you have Jaden bump into Yu-Gi-Oh! To supposedly get his first card, supposedly.
Yeah, the Wing Karibo. It's not supposedly, it happens. I watched it, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He gets
like,
the Wing Karibo.
There's a gap there.
Well, yeah, Yugi's older.
Frame. Yeah.
It's in the future. Literally during the GX era, they go to Domino City, and Jaden even talks to Grandpa Moto, and they even get to tour Battle City and see some of the legendary iconic places like the dock and the area where he fought one of Merrick's mind slaves who had Slifer.
It's kind of interesting.
Strings, I think his name was.
Do you think the movie where you had Yugi, Jaden, and Yusei, do you think that maybe somehow, like, got Yugi and Yami to somehow, you know, even though, like, Yugi's Yoda, to somehow still have that event happen where he Jaden to give him that card?
What? I'm trying to process whatever you just said.
So, I'm talking about the Paradox movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The movie.
Where you're technically, you know, you have Yugi who's kind of still, like, his normal age.
Yeah, because they went back in time. Yeah.
Yes. And you have Yami there technically as well.
Yeah, because this was before anything had happened in his timeline. They hadn't figured out everything. Yeah, what about it?
Would you think after the math, that whole event happening, because then everyone's thing would be back to their respective timelines, and respective time frames, would you think somehow that would have, like, you know, jogged maybe Yuki's memory, maybe when he's over to somehow have that event happen where he bumps into Jaden?
No. Because... Well...
Think about it.
Okay. So, in the movie, they go back in time. So this is a Yugi who is still young, still has the Pharaoh, doesn't know his name, he's still going through the events of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! He's never met Jaden. And he doesn't know that Jaden has Wing Karibo during the movie because he doesn't play Wing Karibo. It's never shown. So in that sense, no. Past Yugi will never have this recollection of like, oh, I should go meet this man and give him a Wing Karibo. Now that said, I do think on some level, future Yugi, after he completes, 5Ds, or completes the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, and then has that event where he gives Jaden the Karibo, maybe after that, he'll be like, hey, that was that guy who helped me save the world.
You know, like a more like jog the memory thing. Yeah, I think that would have been kind of interesting.
Only with future Yugi, but that's something we'll never see. Because that movie came out long after GX, so we'll never see a reaction to that. But I would think after he gives him the card, he would be like, hey, that's the guy who helped me save Pegasus and all duel monsters way back when.
I just think it was kind of interesting to think about. I don't know, it just made me theorize a little bit. I think it would have just been kind of interesting not.
I mean, I don't know how they could have ever included that in any way, shape, or form in that movie. There's no way that would.
No, I just was thinking. I know a lot of some movies aren't, in a sense, like, you know, canon or something like their separate like continuity.
Oh, this movie's canon. This movie is canon. In the Japanese dub of 5Ds, whenever you get to season 4, which was completely scrapped in the English dub, whenever Yusei is talking to, I forget his name, Paradox? Or not Paradox. The main guy. I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. Zone. He's talking to Zone. Zone tells him that he's the one that sent Paradox back in time. And that was a clone of one of his best friends who had died in the future. So that movie is canon in the Japanese. So those events did take place. They take place during the 5Ds arc.
He was just fast.
Specifically after the WRGP, might I add. So yeah, it's really cool that movie is canon. The only non-canon movie, as far as I'm aware, is the New Dimensions one. Or whatever it was called. The latest one, that with Yugi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I don't think that one is canon. I also think Pyramid of Light is also canon. It takes place, I think, after Battle City.
I was to say, it was... I still remember the commercials when they were first showing that off. I remember Burger King had, like, all the toys. You can get, like a puzzle, like... And, like, each, like, toy came with an actual card from the movie, too.
That's pretty cool.
Like, you could get, like, the actual Sphinx cards that way. Shit, you could even get God cards that way, too. Like, that's how you could get Obelisk. And at the time, that was like, dude, God cards are, like, already hard to come by. And, like, that was, like, the shit. That was, like, the strap.
It's actually a really good movie. Well, up to the point when, you know, the guy takes over Kaiba's body. But I like seeing Kaiba versus Yugi, because it really does seem like Kaiba was going to win. He was going to defeat the Pharaoh. And then that Anubis guy was like, no, it's my turn. But it was a good duel. We got to see Pretend Dark Clown, Valkyria. We're what?
2 minutes, that's it for me for the night.
Oh, we're at 52. Okay, well then do you want to... Oh, you're just... Okay, you just fucking left. Oh, okay.
I'm just sitting in the lobby. That's it for me for the night.
Bro couldn't have finished a 3-minute race. That's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life, but okay. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed these 2 post-Ethan videos of us doing CTR and us just going down memory lane. Share some of your memories down below on any of the topics that we talked about, or, you know, some input if you want. You know, let's get some conversation rolling. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody, and Lynx, once again, thank you for being here and giving us your time. And I hope you guys have a good night. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.